A Saturday afternoon of college basketball continues, featuring two programs that have reached the Final Four in recent memory, but both going through some challenges this season. George Mason is in the hunt at 500 in the league and now almost healthy, while Loyola's transition to the A-10 has been somewhat difficult. From Gentile Arena in Chicago, it's the George Mason Patriots and the Loyola Chicago Ramblers. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today with former LaSalle head coach Dr. John Giannini. I'm Kevin Lee. Well, George Mason is in the mix. They're within range of the top four in the league as we get closer in February to the postseason tournament next month. But for Loyola, the transition from the Missouri Valley has been a little bit difficult. 3 NCAA trips the last 5 years, but 1 conference win so far this year. Where are they at?
Loyola is getting better. They're cutting down on turnovers, playing better defense. They lost a heartbreaker at Dayton in overtime on Wednesday. Can they get over the hump today against George Mason, who already beat Loyola in Virginia? Now can the Ramblers defend their home court?
We're going to get to see 2 of the very good forwards in this league going up against each other today.
Aduro right now is the best big man in the Atlantic 10. He scores down low. He has exquisite footwork, nice shot fakes. He's also the top rebounder in the A-10 since conference play has begun. And he's a very good passer, and he's going to need that because Loyola's going to double team Aduro every chance. On the other end is another amazing forward. Alston is relentless attacking the rim and rebounds. He complements his game with a nice three-point shot. He made this big 3 here at Dayton to send the game into overtime. Guarding Alston is a tough one-on-one assignment for anyone.
You see some of the numbers very similar in what they do from a court scoring perspective. Alston making that transition from Division II and having no difficulty so far. Guard play, always a big factor for George Mason. What's the health of Ronald Polite? He's not 100%, but he's going pretty good. He's key for them. And Braden Norris is someone to really watch on the other side of things. 13 All-MVC last year for Loyola.
Norris plays nearly 40 minutes a game. He is the floor general for Loyola. He's their best passer and ball handler. They rely on him. They have great confidence when the game is in Norris's hands. Don't want to take him out.
Head coaches, 2 of the youngest. In fact, 2 of the 3 youngest for Loyola. Drew Valentine, still the youngest coach in the country at 31 in his 2nd season. He took over for Porter Moser and won 25 last year. And for George Mason, Kim English at 34 is the 3rd youngest in his 2nd season. He played a year in the NBA, a little more than a year, including a stint briefly with the Chicago Bulls. Series, it's brief with a change in conference. Just the 2nd time they've met. George Mason won at Eagle Bank Arena by 11 just about a month ago. Wally Rutecki, Leslie Jones, Nathan Hall, our officials. We're ready to go from Chicago. Jalen Quinn, just a freshman from Illinois, runs the offense part of the time, along with Norris, who you saw with the ball, and they'll try to bang it inside early. Contact, and it won't go for Golden.
George Mason likes to guard the post one-on-one. Don't leave other shooters open. That time Aduro wins a one-on-one battle against Golden. On the other end, look for the Ramblers to double-team Aduro every chance they have down low.
And they want to play through him. He's already had a touch. Polite with the ball in the right wing is their point guard. He makes them go. There's the double on Aduro, down to 6 to shoot. 2, they got to get it away. They're not going to.
That is perfect execution of Loyola's game plan. When Aduro gets the ball, the person on him will prevent him from going middle. They're going to force him to the baseline where a 2nd defender comes. They're putting Aduro in tough situations, and it works perfectly for the Ramblers on the 1st possession.
So we look at the Ramblers. We know there are no moral victories, but what did the Dayton game do for them the other night? Oh, look at this, wide open. They get an easy one to get started for Bryce Golden.
Well, Dayton was a preseason top 25 team. They have one of the best atmospheres in all of college basketball. So taking Dayton to overtime, the loss is frustrating, but it does create belief that you could play with anyone, anywhere.
There's Aduro. He's going to lob it down low. Henry is too far under. And they may have another shot clock violation. They'll get it away, and Polite hits from deep to bail him out.
Coach Valentine commented on this, just the tough shots people have made against the Ramblers this year, and that's a perfect example. You can't play better defense, and Polite just saves Mason with a 30-foot three at the buzzer.
Schweiger is a redshirt freshman. He's been coming on. Back to Golden. That was a big key the other night. He was hitting from the perimeter. Misses this three. Golden has the early assignment on Oduro. Handoff. And a turnover. Nearly. Shot clock does not change, though. 5 to shoot. Cooper can shoot it. He'll miss one from long. Out of bounds, and it stays at the George Mason end.
Ball screen coverage right here. And Loyola, Schweiger in this case, does a really good job of reading pick and roll defenses. Who's helping? And then great defense and a soul-crushing late three in the shot clock by Polite. So tough when you play 29.9 seconds of good defense and that happens.
About 2 steps outside the arc. Cooper driving, couple of pump fakes, gets in close and misses. Norris is there with the rebound from the guard position to come the other way for the Ramblers.
Henry so far battling Alston. He just prevented a high-low. Loyola likes to go high-low to Alston.
Golden has taken all 4 of the shots for the Ramblers now and converts again.
Norris is one of the best pick-and-roll passers you could hope for. He's a veteran. However you cover the pick and roll, he knows who the open person is. And what a defensive effort by Alston.
That is great effort to get on the floor and force the jump ball.
Here's Henry preventing the high-low. Someone can't score if you don't let him have the ball, and that's exactly what Alston just did on the other end. Pick and roll, as soon as Oduro helps, the roller's open. Norris is a veteran point guard. He knows I have my man on me. As soon as I see a second defender, either the roller's open or the kick-out three. And Norris, the reason he rarely comes off the court, he dissects defensive coverages.
Someone else will have to score for Loyola because Golden has gone off. Tom Welch is in. Plenty of time on the shot clock inside, and it's an offensive foul. Wipe that off on the leaner for Justin Fernandez. The impressive freshman has been coming on lately.
I mentioned Loyola's getting better. And right here you see the charge by Welch. By the way, I saw Welch in practice yesterday, and he's my favorite practice player of the year. This guy was pumping everyone up, high-fiving people. I think he even kissed Quinn on the forehead once. True story. But what a positive energy he is. But the story so far is Loyola's defense.
Off the high screen, Norris hits the triple.
When you have a good point guard, all you got to do is give him a ball screen, and he will take what the defense gives him. That time, there's no help. Last time, George Mason helps, Norris hit the roller. This time, they don't help, so he knocks down the three. Norris is a problem so far for George Mason.
Early 4-point advantage for the host Ramblers in a pretty full Gentile arena on a Saturday afternoon. Nearly turned over, down to 5 to shoot again. This has been a common theme. Fernandez creates, misses twice, and the Ramblers come out of there with it. Schweiger looking for some help, and he'll get it with Alston. First time we've really seen him go after it, and he'll bang his way down low and lose it. And a foul on Loyola in the early going. The Ramblers in front by 4. College basketball on USA is brought to you by US Bank. We'll get there together. It was frigid here yesterday, and it's really cold on the east, but it's headed that way. And after a chilly start to today, it's really nice in Chicago. It's going to hit the high 30s today. So maybe we're almost through winter. And we mentioned how young these coaches are. Both of these guys will still get out there and mix it up a little bit. Kim English really loves to practice with his team, and Drew Valentine certainly does when needed.
Well, these coaches are young, but they got these positions because they have great resumes. Coach Valentine served under Tom Izzo at Michigan State, the Hall of Famer, was an assistant to Porter Moser during these Final Four runs. On the other end, Coach English, nice take there by Bailey, not finishing, but on the other end, Coach English, he's worked under Rick Barnes, the great coach of Tennessee. So these coaches have learned a lot and paid some dues.
Here's Aduro going to work down low, misses the jump toss, out of bounds. And it will be Loyola the ball. Yeah, these coaches also have pretty good NBA ties. Kim English obviously played in the NBA. So I might have learned more in that 1 year playing for Lawrence Frank and with Tom Thibodeau as an assistant. And then Valentine's brother, Denzel, spent 6 years in the NBA and is still playing in the G League.
No, absolutely, and they love talking about the different coaches that they've gathered their philosophy from.
Braden Norris looking for a path. Finds help. Let's watch Alston go to work. Spins. Won't get the soft roll.
This is George Mason's small lineup. Cooper at 6'4" is at the power forward, and he's done a terrific job one-on-one against Alston so far.
Cooper tries to find the cutter, Oduro, and it's a turnover. Wilson on the attack. No, but a blocking foul. Jamero Wilson, grad student from Chicago, will get free throws.
Here's the turnover, pushing in transition, and this is important. In the last game, Loyola had 0 points off the fast break. 0. George Mason's #1 defensive priority coming into this game is stopping Loyola on the fast break, because obviously that was such a huge part of them winning last time. But on the other end, yesterday in practice, Loyola was playing against their scout team. But they took every rebound and turnover to the house, meaning that they ran their fast break. They were mentally conditioning themselves to run, and they get an easy free throw opportunities, I should say, off that last turnover. And their defense is where their improvement is really happening. Coming into this game, they were by far, frankly, the worst statistical defensive team in the league. They give up the most points, almost 80 points a game, give up almost 50% from the field. But so far, they are locking down on George Mason, doing an especially good job against Oduro.
Great jump for the Ramblers, and then just a fumble for Bailey. And Loyola running the other way. That's 4 turnovers now for George Mason, and none for Loyola. Is that the announcer jinx? They'll keep it. So still none.
In turnovers, that's been Loyola's biggest problem all year. They're one of the best shooting teams in the A-10, but they have the 8th most turnovers per game in America. I said, though, they are getting better. Those numbers have improved in conference play. Their defense looks better today. Their resiliency that Coach Valentine has talked about is starting to pay off.
Loyola on a 7-0 run. Norris gets all the way down the right side of the lane, will fade away and hit. 11-3 start for the Ramblers, who have just 1 win in conference this season. But now they're showing some of the improvement they've had since the calendar turn.
And that's the shot George Mason wants Norris to take. They want to make him make tough twos.
Ginica Ojiako in the game. This is the left-hand toss. Schweiger there for the carom for Loyola. They'll push. Wilson, nice spin. Won't fall. Rebound loose. Your guy fighting for it, kept it alive for just a moment, but Welch can't save the possession. At the other end, nice hang and hit. That ends the run at 9.
Watch the pick and roll coverage now. Ojiako coming out. Obviously, they're not pleased with their last coverage, so they're starting to switch ball screens now.
Up top, 3-ball for Kennedy is too strong.
That was not good defense by George Mason. Ojiako tried to switch back and left Kennedy wide open. He just didn't make the shot.
Another freshman, Dinkins, goes inside to Ojiako, and he'll get this one to go.
Ojiako's second shot in 2 possessions. When he's in the game, they like to take advantage of him. They think his strength is low post isolation scoring. So when Ojiako's going in the game, no surprise, they'll probably pass it to him down low quick.
He is an impressive force down low. 3-ball Schweiger right wing is good.
Loyola's got a bunch of good shooters. Schweiger, 38% on threes. I think Schweiger has a great chance to make the A-10 All-Rookie team. You don't want to overhelp against Loyola, getting rotations, because that's how you give up open threes.
Mason playing without Oduro right now. He's on the bench, hasn't scored, and has only taken 1 shot. We're 8 minutes in. They'll go right back to Ojiako, misses the soft toss. Loyola up by a touchdown in the early going. Kennedy's been dealing with a lot of nagging injuries all season long. Sets up a 3-ball that is an air ball for Tom Welch up top. And that brings us to a timeout. And it has been mostly Loyola in the early going. Norris creating for himself. And the Schweiger 3 is a 7-point lead for Loyola.
People remember ads with a catchy song.
There is certainly a new frontier in college sports, and you can join the Loyola Basketball NIL Fan Club. Get an autographed team photo, invite to a video call with players, and more. Go to NBC Sports, athletedirect.com, or scan the QR code to join. Loyola players receive a share of fan club sales.
And for people who aren't familiar with NIL, up until the last year and a half, the NCAA did not allow athletes to earn any income out off their athletic ability. That's all changed with NIL right now. So fan bases want to allow their players to do that, help their players to do that. Frankly, it's going to be a factor in recruiting moving forward. NIL is not going anywhere.
No doubt. You have to make use of it to stay competitive. Oduro is back in the game. Scoreless so far, just 1 shot, and he's in trouble here. He will give it away. 4 turnovers have led to 9 Loyola points in the early going, leading by 7. Turnaround won't go. Tipped up and in by Oduro, and he's on the board.
I like this saying when you have a good big guy. If you can't get the ball, if you're constantly double teamed, well then go get it off the glass. That's exactly what Oduro does. And since he has more rebounds in the N10 than anyone since conference play has started, he's perfectly suited to that task.
Alston is back in after a break as well. A little too strong on the free throw line push shot.
And George Mason going zone that last possession. A little bit of a changeup.
Off the Ojiako screen. Cooper tries to get it to him, and a little push from behind on Bryce Golden.
There's the drive. Oduro crashes. And Alston doesn't really block his path. That's something Coach Valentine will show Alston on video. And last game, George Mason got 20 points, 20 off offensive rebounds. So that's an emphasis. Coach Valentine disappointed with Oduro getting a relatively easy tap-in.
Coach Valentine really challenged Alston. 3-ball out. The corner is no good for Cooper. To really try to take the matchup with Oduro head-to-head. Take that as a challenge, even if you're not always guarding each other. 3-ball is good for Golden. That's a key. When that's going, it goes well for Loyola.
Golden made 3 against Dayton. It was a big part of their strong performance at Dayton. He continues it. And what I'm excited about right now is Alston, and there's a deep 3, but Alston right now and Oduro are head-to-head. Both teams have their big lineups, and can't wait to see these guys battle. In transition, though, Ojiako had to pick him up.
Golden has it now. 4-year player at Butler hits a little fadeaway in his first year with the Ramblers. Is helping out nicely.
This is the psychology of coaching. Golden has been coming off the bench. Welch has been very consistent. They go to Ojiako low, another double team. But the point is, Coach Valentine says, Welch is consistent. Let's give Golden an opportunity to start. And he's flourishing with it. When you have a talented guy, sometimes you say, you know, we're going to give you an opportunity to do more. That's exactly what Coach Valentine has done by inserting Golden into the lineup. And he knows the veteran leader, Welch, is equally comfortable starting or coming off the bench. So this opportunity has been embraced by Golden.
And he's got that matchup. The foul, by the way, on Alston was his first. Past the midpoint of the first half, Kevin Lee, Dr. John Giannini here on USA in the A-10. Corner three ball is not going to go. It's been mostly Loyola up by double figures right now. Deep three won't go for Norris. And rebound. Fumbled for a moment. We've got a stoppage of play. The whistle away from the ball. The officials have called time. I think we had we had an infectious disease control, a little bit of blood somewhere, so infectious material control, if you will. So they'll deal with that. We'll make a quick change.
I like Coach English taking Alston out with one foul. Just give him a little break. Make sure he doesn't get a quick second one. He'll be back in soon.
Light to Fernandez. Cooper and Polite. They're taking it away from Maduro right now. Welch is down there banging him. So they'll try the other block, and Malik Henry. Nice soft toss, gets the roll.
Henry's breakout game was the last matchup against Loyola. He had not scored in double digits until that game. He exploded for 15 and has been in the starting lineup ever since. And they need people to step up because Loyola's doing a terrific job lately, Welch in particular, of not even letting Aduro get the ball.
3 blocks and 5 rebounds in that game as well. Wilson misses the short jumper. Polite coming the other way. Patriots within 8.
Quinn going under ball screens. That simplifies your ball screen coverage when you could slide underneath screens. Now you don't have to help on the big guy. The roller isn't open. Threes aren't open. Keep watching Loyola's ball screen defense sliding under. It's worked for them together with the maniacal denial and double teaming of Aduro. Everyone double teams Aduro. Loyola's just doing a better job of it than most right now.
And even when he's singled, Welch is doing a pretty nice job banging with him. That time he knocks it out of bounds.
Now watch Welch. He's going to front, not let Aduro get any easy catches.
Once again, deep in the shot clock. Polite with 3. Contested shot. Won't go over the crowd. Rebound for Kennedy. Wilson gets all the way to the basket. Easy layup for Jamiro Wilson.
Nice shot after transition, but it's really the Rambler defense that impresses. As I said, statistically, they have struggled mightily in A-10 play, but this team is getting better week to week. And this defensive performance is what's getting them this nice double-digit lead here early. Look, Aduro can't get the ball. Look at Welch battling him.
Down to 5 to shoot, and a foul that time. Polite draws it from Schweiger. And that will bring us to another timeout, and we'll have free throws coming out. Loyola continues to get good looks, and they're up by double figures in the early going in Chicago. So tomorrow, more A-10 basketball, Fordham and Richmond right here on USA. I feel a little bit more like tournament time as the weather warms up. We get through February. And in Brooklyn, we'll find out who prevails and gets the automatic bid. Here's a look at where things stand right now. It is so packed up in the middle of the A-10.
Coach, Ergo at Fordham, an early front runner for Coach of the Year. They're playing amazing defense. They were picked towards the bottom of the league. And for them to be where they are is just a testament to that staff and that roster, and they're doing it with defense. If you love defense and you want to see the fastest rising team in the A-10, got to watch that game tomorrow.
Well, here today, this is a good one to watch. You look at the numbers, 7 and 14, 1 and 8 for the home team. George Mason getting healthier, 5 and 5. 13 and 10, you might think, George Mason might control this on the road. Not so much. And you told me that would be the case coming in. You really expected a big effort from Loyola.
Well, here's something interesting. George Mason is big and physical. They're last in the A-10 in steals because they don't worry about stealing the ball. They want to protect the paint, make you miss, have a great defensive field goal percentage. But Loyola is turnover prone. They struggle against teams that pressure. George Mason doesn't pressure, and guess what? Loyola has 0 turnovers right now. This is a team that has the 8th most turnovers in the country, but George Mason is a good matchup for Loyola because they don't exploit any kind of ball handling or passing issues they may have. Although, interestingly, they pick up some pressure right here. I think Coach English trying to jumpstart his team, going back into 2-3 after timeouts. Lots of coaches do that to negate the play that was just drawn up.
Here's Alston banging down low, making contact with Oduro. Which way is it going to go? It's the block. It's on Oduro.
Coach English doesn't like this. I'm not sure I would like it. Let's look at the replay. There's Oduro. Boy, I side with Coach English on that. There's Oduro. He's set. He's standing there. He's above the restricted area. And Loyola gets a little home cooking maybe here in Chicago.
And Alston now is on the board with his first scoring. Second, too strong. Back to 10. That matches the biggest lead of the game. This is at least the 3rd time that Loyola has enjoyed that advantage. Oduro just lost it. Welch goes on the deck. Oduro recovers. Once again, shot clock inside 5. Cooper with 2 is going to have to hoist it, and he got it! Just like they drew it up. That's twice now.
Coach Valentine has to think, what did I do against the basketball gods? Really, what fate did I do to deserve this?
Alston spins, get the basket, count it, a chance at the line. But let's look at the other end first.
Deep 3, end of the shot clock. Norris has the hand right in the face of Cooper. You can't play better defense. Now, that one was a block. And I like the offensive strategy of Loyola against that zone. The open part of the 2-3 zone is that A-10 logo. It's behind the guards in front of the center. And getting it there is not only good, but it isolates Alston against Oduro, who gets Oduro's second foul and sends him to the bench. So it's all kinds of benefits. Old school and ones, buckets, and taking the most dominant big man in the first half of the A-10 season and putting him on the bench with foul trouble.
That was a concern for Kim English coming in, keeping Oduro out of foul trouble. He leads the team in fouls. He's only fouled out once, but it's impacted their rotation and their play at times.
This is why Bob Knight didn't like zone. He says, man-to-man, I could dictate who you're guarding, and there's another deep 3, and a knockdown by Cooper. Cooper, last 2 threes, bringing George Mason back. But man-to-man, the defense, long skip, Schweiger.
Too long.
But in a zone, offensively, you could put the guy you want next to Oduro and get the matchup you want against the zone.
Saquon Singleton you saw with a touch in the game. And this is an easy look for Malik Henry, who sneaks back door and gets the easy dunk.
That is why coaches hate middle penetration. When the ball comes down the middle, your big man steps up, and that leaves the dunker spot open. Middle penetration is a no-no.
Norris trying the deep one, no. Also got a finger on it, out of bounds to George Mason. By the way, on the health front for George Mason, Devontae Gaines has been out. This is the 10th straight game that he's missed. He's been practicing for the last couple of days, and it's likely he plays on Wednesday. Not definite, but he wasn't ruled out until before the game, so he was kind of considered doubtful. But he's still their second leading rebounder, and he's someone that does some work down low.
It's amazing when you're out for 9 games and you still have the second most rebounds on your team. But he was also a 40% three-point shooter, so he brings shooting. He's also a switchable, versatile defender. He's going to be a welcome addition to George Mason.
Another turnover. That's been an issue in the early going. 5 of them. Norris steps back, fade, no. Cooper rebounds for the Patriots.
That's how George Mason wants to defend Norris. Keep a big guy back at the rim, chase him over screen so he can't get a three, he can't get a layup, and force Norris into those tough twos.
Giacco doubled. Dinkins gets inside, and no! Giacco trying to get it back, can't. Norris coming the other way.
There's the chase over the top of the screen on Norris. They're chasing everyone over the top of the screen. And Golden trying to replicate his shooting success that he had at Dayton. Good look. And I'm not sure George Mason is against that. You can't defend everything. You have to give up some things. And I think that three by Golden they're willing to give up.
Turnover again, 6 of them. Kennedy trying to initiate contact, and against 3 Patriots gets it to go.
Another transition basket after Loyola had 0 transition baskets in the first matchup. George Mason not doing a great job with transition defense.
Dinkins, the freshman from Washington, D.C. Giacco, corner ball, Polite, too strong, long rebound. Under 4 to play in the first half. Loyola has led almost the entire way, and by as many as 10. Trying to get their second conference win of the season, coming off an impressive overtime loss this week at Dayton.
2-3 zone again. The opening at the A-10.
Wilson tosses from inside the free throw line, and that is smooth.
Hunt the logo against the 2-3 zone. That's the 3rd basket against the 2-3. I expect Coach English to get out of it relatively soon.
Wilson is a transfer from Lehigh, played 4 years there. Was a starter all last season. Inside, Giacco is tied up or fouled. He was fouled. And that takes us to a timeout. Loyola using the turnover to their advantage, leading by 9 in the first half. And finding easy looks from inside. The home team has been in charge most of the way here in Chicago today. Loyola Chicago leading George Mason. It's difficult in the A-10 or anywhere on the road, John.
No, you nailed it, Kevin. When the NCAA tournament brackets are released, the best teams in the country will have great road records. That's what makes them the best teams in the country. You will see the good teams are 500-ish on the road. Extremely difficult to get a road win. Every single one of them is precious. And what I like about Loyola is the improvement. They're a turnover-prone team that has 0 turnovers. They're a team that has struggled defensively, that is really locking down George Mason so far. They have not defended their home court. They got their first win recently at home against St. Bonnie's, and on track for that #2 home win if they can maintain this defensive intensity and taking care of the ball for the next 23 minutes.
Mason is +8 on the boards, but they've turned it over 6 times. No turnover there. That is a hard right-hand flush by Justin Fernandez.
Fernandez flashing why he was a top 100 recruit. And whenever you come off a pick and roll and get a dunk, it means the person guarding the screener gave no help at all. That time Golden should have switched or hedged or helped or deterred Fernandez. Doesn't happen, and Fernandez sends it home.
Norris trying to answer it. He will with the triple. Not as flashy, but more effective on the scoreboard.
If I'm George Mason, I'm concerned with Loyola's comfort level offensively because they have multiple shooters. Norris came into this year the best career three-point percentage in the country. And they have multiple shooters. They have to do something to disrupt. I know they're more of a contained team, but they have to do something to disrupt the flow of Loyola. And just switching zone has not done it so far.
Cooper got to the basket and drew the foul on Bryce Golden. That is his second. Let's look at this again.
You see Golden defensively on the left side of the drive. I'm sorry, on the right hand of the screen. He should have been on the left-hand side. Think of it, if you get screened, you need your teammate to help you out. That's usually the big man has to protect the rim, switch or edge. No help by the person guarding the screener that time. And interestingly, Cooper just got fouled on a simple pick and roll going to the rim. Loyola's original pick and roll plan was to slide under ball screens, so you don't need a lot of help. they need to refine their ball screen defense because it's giving George Mason these last 2 scoring opportunities.
Mason is not a good free throw shooter, but Cooper is. He's their second best at 79%. He hits both of them.
You're right about that. George Mason, the worst free throw percentage in the A-10. That could be a factor. And there's the pressure. We talked about George Mason doing something to make Loyola uncomfortable. And it's Singleton in a full court press that creates the first turnover of the game. Loyola is too skilled as shooters to let them run their offense. You have to do something to disrupt them.
Here's Cooper, excellent shooter, struggling a little bit this season, but Coach English wants him to keep firing.
He called him an elite shooter who's not shooting elite right now, but he believes him.
Down to 3 to shoot. Polite gets to the basket and misses. Welch has the rebound. Loyola continues to control, up by 8. 10 is their biggest. Here's Alston way over on the left wing. 3, no. Welch with a tap back. And down low, gets blocked by Henry.
We talked about being disruptive. George Mason now is trapping ball screens, which is the most aggressive way to guard it.
Trying to force the turnover. Foul is going to go against Loyola. Wilson away from the basket. And that's penalty coming up, I believe.
The last 2 stops by George Mason, they did not play their standard defense. The first was a turnover created off full court pressure. That second stop they just had was trapping a ball screen. Coach English is, as I said, recognizing Loyola is very skilled shooting the ball. Can't let them get comfortable.
Well, a concern and a setback for George Mason, the top 3-point shooter in the A-10. Victor Bailey Jr. will not return because of a hand injury.
So Gaines has missed 9 games, the outstanding forward for George Mason. Polite has missed a handful of games. And some years the injury bug just bites you. And right now it's biting George Mason. This is not a lineup that Coach English probably foresaw using at the start of the season right now, with Jones and Dinkins and pretty much all subs right now besides Polite and Cooper.
And Henry with the blocking foul on Norris.
And that's because, watch Henry and Jones, they're going to jump out on those pick and rolls. They've changed their coverage, putting 2 hard, trapping the trap.
All right, quick timeout. That's only the 15th foul. Back in a moment.
Buying a house is complicated and confusing, especially now.
But it doesn't have to be.
That's why who you work with matters.
Together with HomeLight, we find solutions for every buyer.
Whether you're looking to make an all-cash offer, find the right loan, or negotiate with confidence,
Our team helps you get the home you love every time.
a home is something special.
Inside the final minute of a very quick first half on Chicago's north side at Loyola Chicago. The host Ramblers leading the George Mason Patriots by 6. Sideline inbound after the foul. Here's a look to Victor Bailey with that left hand wrapped in ice. One of the key scorers for the Patriots. Near turnover. Still plenty of time to shoot. Now they will turn it over. Polite going the other way. They can get a 2-for-1 here if they wish. Might have. Well, I thought maybe he got a piece of it out of the corner. No matter. Dinkins nails it. And just like that, it is a 3-point game after trailing much of the first half by double figures.
And the difference is George Mason's defense. Creating turnovers, then pushing it down the court, making a 3, cutting into the Rambler lead.
Inside the final minute of the first half. How they got back in this.
doing more aggressive things defensively. Trapping, pick and rolls, pressuring the ball, picking up full court. And even though this isn't their starting lineup, Singleton and Dinkins are some of their quickest players. And you see just more ball pressure with this lineup.
Loyola trying to retake the momentum here.
There's a double team. Aggression.
Kennedy's in trouble. Oh, great look down low to Alston with a two-hand throwdown.
If you don't turn it over against double team, you'll get an open person.
Back to 5. Guarantees they will take a lead into the half. Mason hasn't led since the opening moments. Down to 2 in the first half. Cooper from up top, too strong. First half comes to a close. The 7-0 run snap. Loyola gets that bucket, and they're up by 5. Here's the last look.
Finally, Loyola attacks the trap, gets the open look down low to Alston. Alston won't get many shots easier than that, and that's the thing about trapping. It's all or none. You get the turnover, or you could give up an easy one.
34-29, Loyola Chicago leading George Mason. The U.S. Bank halftime report with Taryn Hatcher is coming up.